I got to go live. I did it right. Yay! I did it right. Listen, last time it took me 8 minutes. This time it only took me 3 minutes to find out where the doggone button is. I pushed the right button too, and it didn't work. I don't know why. Okay, we are almost ready, but what I want to know is who is on. And that's what I can't see. I need to see who's on. So please get on and do me a favor, big time favor, and chat in and tell me you're here so that I can start. Because I literally don't know what I'm doing. That's okay. I'll get it. It's not a problem. Welcome to the chat. Remember to guard your privacy. Okay, fine. Guys, you've got to chat in and tell me that you are here. Please. Otherwise, I won't know. Oh, it says one person. That's me. I'm here. Yay, somebody else is here. Yay, great. Oh, 4 people. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Good, I did it right. You're here. Let's go. I'm Dr. Deb. It is Thursday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Time, and we are doing live on my YouTube, which is a big difference from Zoom. The reason I switched, guys, this is where you come in. It's really important to help everyone else in the universe that may need this help. I did this because I feel like I'll reach more people, because YouTube is a platform that does not require a person to actually have an account to see videos. And therefore, there are people who don't want Facebook. There are people who don't like Zoom for whatever reason. I felt like I'll reach more people this way. And that's why I'm doing this. So please, 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 please like, comment, subscribe, do anything you can to let YouTube know that this is valuable content. And if you don't like it, negative comments are welcome. Please, please. Negative comments are welcome, because then I'll know what people really want or how people really think. It could be that I'm so smart and I think I know, but I don't necessarily know. I'm not a mind reader, right? Close sometimes, but not a mind reader. So please comment even negatively. The only caveat, the only issue is that your comments are not going to be private and not going to be anonymous. Right now, these videos are private, as a matter of fact. If you have the link, if you got my email, or if you're in the Facebook group, you got the link. But they're still going to eventually be public for YouTube. And when that is, I'm just going to let you in on a little secret. I am creating videos. I never did this before. All my videos have been live with you guys on Zoom. I am creating really good, like super amazing, actually, I think, videos for uploading to YouTube in a series like 10, 15, 20 minutes long each, that are explaining how to help get out of a marriage. I actually have a bleep tone. I figured out how to do that over that word. But if you're in a marriage and you want to get it fixed, how to make that marriage transform itself is going to be a huge playlist of different topics. This one being one of them, right? So let me plow right in. Okay. And I want to thank somebody who will remain anonymous, because I don't know if she wants her name on there for this topic. It's a great topic. So let's just plunge right in. Why is it that narcissists have to manipulate, control, blame, criticize, minimize your feelings? I was looking for a picture. I don't know if you noticed that cute little thumbnail. I was looking for a picture representing narcissism, and I saw this really interesting meme that said, "I didn't do it." Anyway, if I did do it, so what? It's not a big deal. Anyway, if you thought, that it was a big deal, you deserved it. Something like that. So that sums up what we think of as narcissism. And what I want to do is take you down a little bit deeper into the situation and find out why this happens. Okay? There are two cases in my 35 years of doing this work. There are two cases that I have come up with that explain the roots of narcissism. Case one, our society, in particular as regards men, but it could be in a particular family regarding women as well, our society forbids people to have feelings. Feelings are a no-no, probably because the parents got that same treatment themselves, or, and this is something that's very interesting, with a lot of the problems around the world that people have suffered from, terrorism, forced, whatever's, evacuations, murders in the neighborhood, driving people out of neighborhoods, just terrible things that have gone on in the last century. People really didn't have time for feelings. It was get in the wagon, we're going to die if we don't get out of town, kind of thing. So I think that's one contributing factor. Also in America, Terry Real, Real, has written 3 books. I read one of them, excellent, on how men are treated in this society to not be allowed to have feelings. So, for example, there's sickness, a divorce, moving. Moving is a high stressor. Whatever, there's stuff going on and no one talks about it. No one discusses it to the child. Even if it's a teenager, somebody has to talk. I heard a case just before. Someone was telling me about a brother who got into trouble with drugs and whatnot. The parents never discussed with him what was hurting him, what was bothering him, why. Hello? The word why is a pretty important word, right? Parents never discussed it with him. So this kid never got an answer for his problem, and no one helped him. He didn't even get taken to a therapist, nothing. And by the way, unfortunately, when you get taken to a therapist, the problem there is the therapist maybe, I'm not saying all of them are, maybe blaming. So you get taken to the therapist and the therapist talks to you like, well, why did you do that? Anyway, like, don't you know better kind of. And I know that sounds crazy because a therapist shouldn't do that. But if we go back 20 years or 30 years, therapists were more judgmental, and they may still be. I don't know. Every therapist has their own issues too. And if they didn't work on them first and they're bringing them into the therapy situation, that can happen. So a therapist who makes a teenager feel like he's rotten at the core is not exactly going to help that kid grow up to be a husband or a wife who says, yeah, let's go to therapy, forget it. So that is reason number one. The person simply doesn't know what feelings he or she has, doesn't want to know either, because they've all been suppressed, and therefore they act this way because underneath all that, they do feel very bad. They do not feel good. So they're not in a place of being able to get to it because they don't want to. Case number 2, spoiled children. I have seen this 1,000 times where parents who are the good, kind, salt of the earth kind of people have rotten kids because they spoil them. Why did they spoil them in the first place? Because they were mistreated. And they say, I am not going to bring up my child the way I was brought up. I am not going to do that to my child. So they give him everything they want. And if the child has a tantrum, they give them more. Now, that child could grow up to be a narcissist as well, because really, narcissist means involved with self, right? The original guy was this mythological hero in Greek mythology who was looking at his reflection in the water. They didn't have mirrors, I guess. Yes, they did. They had whatever. He was looking in the water, and he ended up falling in love with himself because he said, "Oh, that man is so beautiful," and he fell in the water and drowned. That's narcissism, where it came from. But the spoiled child reacts that way. Now, in both cases, why is it that they end up being rotten people? And they're not rotten people. I'll explain that in a minute, but they act like rotten people. Why? The answer is because they are afraid there's nothing inside of them, or what there is inside of them stinks like garbage and they don't want to go there. So let's analyze. Why would that be? Don't they act like they have it all? They act like that to cover up what they don't have. Why do I say this? This is very rational. You're going to see this yourself very clearly. In case number one, the fact is that we do have feelings, right? Feelings are literally all over our brain. Every part of our brain is associated with feelings. Just to give you a crazy example, let's say you're a runner or you're into sports. When you run, you feel good. And you don't just feel good because your heart is beating and, you got that adrenaline. You feel good from the muscles in your legs working so fine. It literally lifts your spirit just from that part of it alone. Feelings are even in your muscles and joints. It's crazy. But the signals from your muscles and joints go to the same place in your brain where some of your feeling states are produced. It's crazy. In fact, your brain gets all the information second from your body, which is why Basil van der Kolk wrote the book, The Body Keeps the Score. It starts in your body. Okay, so the person who has had their feelings suppressed did not actually eradicate them. You can't. They're there. And he reacts or she reacts to life in a way that makes them know that something is wrong underneath. Because, and by the way, there are some signs. If they're addicted to anything, that's a huge sign. Gambling, substances, workaholism, shopaholism, you name it, that's a good sign, because being addicted to substances will end up tamping down, right? Numbing out a person's pain, which means there was pain. And that's the sign that the person who is narcissistic has pain, right? Now, in the other case, in the case of the spoiled child, this is a whole different description. The spoiled child ends up having so much done for them that they have no sense of personal empowerment. Got this, guys? So much is done for them, they do not have a sense of personal empowerment, meaning, I don't know what I can do because I never had to do anything. All I had to do was scream. And it was given to me and done for me. Am I making sense, guys? I do need chat here because I'm sort of finishing up this like background piece on where narcissism started. And I need to know that I'm making sense. Please chat. Listen, if you don't want to chat now and you see, I'm going to send a link, right? I'm going to send a link later on in the email. of what this, what do you call it, is. This link is. I'm going to send the link in email for the replay. You can chat there. Chat will be seen later on, or it can be started later on. Does anyone have anything to tell me? Can you find your chat on your phone? I really need to know that. What? Oh, I got a thumbs up. Oh, great. That works. 2 people have a thumbs up for that. Thank you. Okay. All right. I'll go ahead on the basis of 2 people saying thumbs up out of a whole bunch of you on right now. Okay. Okay. If that makes sense, then what we really need to do is change the definition. The word narcissism doesn't work because it never includes the cause of the problem, which is what I was just describing. I was saying 2 cases in which kids could grow up to be narcissists, and it's really not their fault, either one of them. And we need to get to the bottom of it. I mean, like, supposing I wanted, I go to the doctor and I say I have a stomach ache. Well, was it my stomach? Was it my intestines? Was it my kidneys? God forbid my liver. I only get one of those. My lungs. I mean, those things are all there in that part of my body. What was it? The doctor needs to get to the origin of the symptom. Narcissism, as we know it, being mean, manipulative, blah, 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 is a symptom. It is not a cause. You can't treat a symptom without a cause. Oh, I would love a thumbs up. Does that make sense? That's easy enough. You don't have to comment. Oh, great. Thank you. Okay, great. Yeah, great. So therefore, we need an approach that actually gets to the cause. And that is why my approach is not to use the word narcissist at all. It is to go back to the old-fashioned word abused and neglected children, traumatized children. Why do I say that? There is now, and it's an amazing, wonderful thing, even in hospitals, but in particular in the world of therapy, now a revolution in thinking about people who need help and whose behavior doesn't work so well for them. And instead of calling the thing behavioral health, which I hate, it's not your behavior that's the cause. One more time. It is the cause that's the cause. What is that? We don't know. It's trauma. And the thinking that has changed is now referring to so-called mental health or behavioral health as trauma-informed care. And I love that because it's the actual reason why people act in a way that you would not expect. Like, why can't they just be normal, right? Well, they can't. And the reason they can't is because, and I love this saying, hurt people hurt people. Cute, right? Cute play on words. One's an adjective, one's a verb. Anyway, I just like words. But the point is that when you get to the root, that's when you can really start working on fixing the problem. So we have, oh God, somebody commented, yes. Is it fair to say that all mood personality disorders are symptoms? Yes, 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 yes. The cause is always trauma, most always. I mean, there can be physical causes for things that you could tell are passing. They're not permanent. Like, for an example, somebody came in yesterday and said to me, because I see people, I live in New York, somebody said to me right here, I am so overwhelmed. I don't know what to do first. My moods are out of control. My first question was, do you get enough sleep at night? She said, no, I was up till 4 last night. Why? Work. She took a summer job, which she thought would be fun, and it is fun, except she has so much to do to prepare for it that it's not fun anymore. So it could be that if a person's physically sick, or they have a lack of sleep or poor eating or a lack of exercise, these are kind of regular everyday lifestyle things that can affect mood. So that is a category all by itself. And I would always tell someone with a mood disorder or whatever to check with a doctor. Here's another thing, by the way, on that very same subject. Over the years, I've had quite a few, maybe 5, 10 people talk about a spouse in their 60s, right? Because people of all ages see me, in their 60s whose mood is irrational and a real big change from the way it used to be, and they're attacking and mean when they didn't used to be. Then I think there may be some kind of dementia situation going on. It's not always Alzheimer's. So that needs to be checked by a neurologist. Somebody came back from a theater of war. I don't remember where it was, and if I did, I wouldn't tell you anyway. But that person also was acting different, and they may have suffered a traumatic brain injury from having received a blow, a pellets, a gun, whatever. I don't know. So you do have to check these things out with a doctor. But yes, other than that, yes, it's trauma based. And that's why when you talk about abuse, you talk about trauma. Abuse, always abusive people act that way. Narcissistic people act that way because of trauma. So, getting back to me, because we have 5 minutes left. If I'm going to run on time, I tend to run late sometimes. And you can go if you need to. I will not be offended. But the point is that when a person comes to see either me or my team, because if you need therapy, you have to go to a local therapist in your state. If you want coaching, you can come to me. And I have put or will put, no, I did, in the description of this video, how to reach me. That is, just type in the comments your email and I will reach out to you. Or if you don't want to put your email there, I can put my, I know, go to my website, drdeb.com, and join my blog. There's a little video there and you sign up and you'll get an email from me and you can write me there. And that's how you do it. Or go to my website and the contact page, whatever. Right. So then I have a coaching program which takes care of the whole country. But here's the point anyway. We have a methodology for getting people to feel their feelings in a safe way. What do I mean? They will not be overwhelmed by their emotions, and they can process everything that ever happened to them and let go of the past through the methods we have, because they have tapped finally into the root cause of their pain. Now, when I interact with them, they're not going to be afraid because I don't judge. I think you get how I am. How I am is how I am, you know? When my kids were growing up, they asked how I am as a therapist. I said, what you see is what you get, you know? This is how I am. They don't feel blamed. They don't feel criticized, judged, diminished, flawed. They feel cherished, wanted, valued, that they have something in there to offer that they may not have even realized. So what's inside that they felt was missing and tainted and all that is actually beautiful. And that's the premise of the work that I do. And eventually they will start to feel their feelings, and that in turn will lead them to empathy, because it's only when you can feel your feelings that you're possibly able to figure out what somebody else's feelings are. So this is a key thing to how we work. Now, you have a challenge if you're married to someone who is defined as a narcissist. Whether you call them a narcissist or not, if they have had trauma which they're afraid to touch inside because they feel scared of the pain, or they feel scared of finding out how rotten they are, you're not going to be able to help them get there the way I would, because I'm not in your marriage, right? I'm a totally objective bystander who doesn't, I feel for them, but I don't get trapped in all the triggers that you would get trapped in. So if they react a certain way to you, you'll react back and it won't go well. And it's not a blame for you. If I were in your shoes, I would do the same thing. It's hard not to be triggered without help at getting at the cause of the pain. So, the only thing that you can do, unless you are really full of self energy and not triggered and full of love and compassion and tenderness and kindness, and they act badly and you consistently act well, maybe over time they would finally trust you. But you're still not a therapist and you don't have the techniques. So I don't see how you can possibly do what a therapist does. I just don't see it because of the fact that you're there in the marriage, you're part of it, you're not out of it as I would be, or any of my team would be, number one. And number two, you don't have all these trauma-informed techniques. The one that I use is called Internal Family Systems, in conjunction with a program that I myself created for easing into it and understanding it and relating to it, and it works. So what are the results? I promised I would tell you this, and it is exactly 1:30, so this is good. I'm going to end on time. The results would be a person who is connected, kind, empathetic, gets you, feels good, is much less triggered. Yes, we all get triggered sometimes, but much less so, recovers from it more quickly. And yes, it could take as long as 3 years. If so, the more trauma, the longer it will take. Yes, but it shouldn't be a Woody Allen kind of thing that goes on for 25 years, because a lot of trauma therapies talk about your feelings without getting to healing them. Just talking about them isn't enough. And those are the ones that go on for 25 years. So you have to be careful. I think I summarized everything. I need for you guys to ask me questions before we go, or you can just type them in the comments later after I end. All good. All righty.